Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome in here to the Macomb Western Holiday Tournament coverage here presented by Tom Conklin State Farm on TSSR Game Time Live. And hey, folks, my name's Greg Phelps, and you see the guy on the video right now. I'm going to tell you, this is the first time in 6 years he and I have been in this gym together. Mr. Keith Yex and I worked together at WCAZ AM 990, the original. No imitators on board. And
He knew the camera was going on in there and took off on you.
Yeah. Well, and folks, I tell you what, it's a little bit emotional getting ready tonight. I'll be honest, first time in 6 years I've stepped in this gym. We're at the Macomb Western Holiday Tournament. Our broadcast ended, sports broadcast ended December 30th, 2017. So here we are. I'm not exactly rusty. We've done a few games since then, but no, here we are. Glad to be here for this Macomb Western Holiday Tournament. BJ Stone alongside me. And, sir, I think we were ships that passed in the night, but I'm sure we saw each other at some point somewhere along the way.
Two old gym rats like us, we had to be sitting not too far from each other at different gymnasiums throughout this part of the state, that's for sure. And looking forward to this one tonight. These are two teams actually both to the south and west of Macomb that are kind of in the same region, Southeastern and the top-seeded Camp Point Central Panthers.
And it looks like the Macomb Prairieland Barbershop Course is going to entertain us with the national anthem here this evening. Know several of these fellas. And we will pause for just a second as we're going to turn it over to the guys singing the national anthem. Some very talented singers there. I know a couple of one of them from the Colchester area, a couple in the Macomb area, and some talented men that bringing that to us here tonight. A good rendition of that. And these two teams here this evening, actually, we're going to turn it over first to Mr. Jake Croxton for our starting lineups.
Guard for Southeastern, a 5'10" senior, number 3, Owen Briggs. At guard for Camp Point Central, a 6' senior wearing number 3, Nick Moore. At guard for the Suns, a 6'1" junior, number 25, Aiden Akers. At guard for the Panthers, a 5'9" senior, number 5, Caden Lohmeyer. At one forward for Southeastern, a 6' junior, number 0, Griffin Tippy. At forward for Central, a 5'9" senior, number 24, Drew Pavin. At forward for Southeastern, a 6' senior, number 13, Carter Hicks. And at forward for the Panthers, a 6'1" senior, number 21, Gavin Blewett. In the middle for the Suns, a 6'4" senior, number 24, Mason Fry. And at forward for the Panthers, a 6'1" junior, number 33, Elijah Ginnenbacher. Brandon Gooding heads up the Suns bench, assisted by Eric Stotts. Justin Elby is veteran coach, the sponsor, Ron Elby Auto Sales. James Barnett heads up the Panther bench, assisted by Andy Eiler and the Garrett Hinge. Mike Woodrum is your honorary coach, the sponsor Woodrum Automotive. Your game's 7 officials are Robert Hinkle, Tad Johnson, and Jason Tanner.
And here we are. Action is on the way. Southeastern going to get that. I call them the game day alternate black jerseys. Drive to the hole and an oopsie on the Griffin Tippy. And actually enough, I saw Grandpa Rod Tippy walking in tonight. And funny enough, Owen Rigg, a grandson of one of the Buryland Barbershop chorus guys. See, it's all the trivia stuff. That's what I bring to.
All that knowledge is wonderful.
Scared what I do with it. Now watch Central work here. They're very quick, very aggressive, and that is a sports corner 3. And putting it on the way, number 5, that is Lohmeyer. Now back will come the Suns. Tippy hold it up, works it into the corner. And then come up top. And drive and kick, because that's all the game right now, BJ, is the drive and kick game is hits. Able to say, got your back, partner, and puts the biscuit in the basket. So it is a 3-2 lead here for Central.
Coach Gooding from the Suns says that they're going to have to defend. As you see right there, they did not. They were broken down quickly on defense. To stay with Camp Point, they're going to have to defend and do it well.
And Coach Barnett gets a lot of speed, a lot of movement in between these guys. And right now they're playing man-to-man as the Suns try to work it here. A little bit of motion offense, working the baseline. And again, the kick out into the corner. Shot on the way by Fry, going to bounce around, going to fall down, tipped out of bounds.
Going that way.
And actually kind of surprised. I thought maybe Pabin had gotten a hold of it. They say it'll be Central basketball.
I asked both coaches about the shot clock. Experimental, Illinois allows people to use it in holiday tournaments such as this, and both coaches didn't think it would be a factor. They both like to, when they run their offense, they shoot in 15, 20 seconds or less anyway, so it shouldn't affect them too much.
And that's going to be kind of the style of play, and of course that's coming somewhere along the way over the next little bit as Tippy drives in. Pabin with a grab, but they're just going to say flipped out of bounds. No harm, no foul.
And where do you stand on the shot clock, Greg? I'm for it. I like it just because it keeps things from being the 4-minute standstill.
Well, I'm a coach, so a junior high girls basketball coach too. I don't know. I kind of have gone back and forth the same way. I don't necessarily like the stall game either. I try to be aggressive, even big, small lead, whichever. I don't know. It's one of those things. I'm okay with it. I do hate making the college game or the pro game too much, but I do see where people want to do that. You want to get possessions. And like I said, I'm a little different minded, even with a small lead, than a lot of coaches. But I mean, it's pretty much coming, and there's a shot clock violation.
We didn't think we'd see many, and here we have one in the first 2.5 minutes of the game. And Coach Barnett, James Barnett, head coach of Camp Point Central, none too happy with that.
Yeah, that was the you can't slam the clipboard on the floor anymore, but he slammed the paper. Not quite at the same.
We didn't hear it from here, but we saw it. Right?
Yes. And hits with it. And hits, of course, coming off a really good football season for South of West Prairie Southeastern. Now they dribble it, kick it out to Fry. Fry going to work it back up. Aiden Akers down in the corner to Hits.
Hits just looks like a football player, doesn't he?
He does. And he's going to power his way through, going to pick up a foul on the way through.
First free throws of the game will be for the very colorfully outfitted Suns, and I say that mostly looking at their shoes. I'm a shoe guy, and I like the colorful stuff, and they've got some good ones on this club.
See, and people will find this surprising. I'm a little more vanilla. The biggest thing I ask for as a coach is that we fairly closely match up. I'm not a kaleidoscope type of guy.
Those days are gone, though, aren't they?
Yeah.
We all wore matching shoes when I played.
No, bought them in the same place. That's totally changed. As Pabin sky high for the rebound, he'll bring it on out of there. Kicks it into the corner. And they're kind of probing. Suns playing 2-3 zone, maybe a little more amoeba-like. Then some will work. May even be kind of the matchup. Partial block by Akers. He'll pull it out of there, get it to Hits. Hits on the run with about 4.5 and gone. As they work in this first quarter, Hits with a lot of room there. And I think he got the first down, but unfortunately he also traveled.
They will move the chains. 4:43 to go in the first. Panthers up by just 3 here.
See, I love a guy that can read my mind because that's hard. Spademan drives down. He'll work it back out to Moore. They'll swing it. And again, they'll very quick movement. And a little bump block and or foul. That'll be on Hitz. That'll be his first.
And the other big rule changes this year, of course, coming with the 5 fouls per quarter. Immediately into what the old double bonus with 2 free throws, no more 1-and-1. But they reset the fouls at the end of each quarter. We haven't seen a lot of free throws today.
No, that's now down at Beardstown as Blewett turns. Turnaround J is good. Going to make it a 7-2 Panther lead. As it's going along, I have seen that. Now, that has been a change I have enjoyed. Because it does, if you have a team that's a little more active-handed, and I've tried to teach my girls to do that, be a little more active-handed. When you pick up the 10th foul about a minute into the second quarter, that's kind of
right.
It's a benefit. Now you can get a little more movement.
And I think, and Caden Lohmeyer, by the way, just picked up his second, and he had to come out. Replaced on the floor by who?
As Akers going to work it around, they're going to cross it into the corner.
Caden Niecamp's in, sophomore.
All right. Akers out top, giving a look, goes to drive. Notice how Southeastern Gooding has him spread all out as Rigg tried to make the late steal on that. Kick it into the corner. They come to the near corner. I'll call it near and far, depending on what you're watching it on. And another Sports Corner 3 dropped home by Mr. Drew Pabin. I believe that's his second already.
5 points for Pabin to lead the way.
And 10-point lead for the Panthers as Tippy works it to Hitz. Hitz going to back it on out of there, goes to drive down, kick in the corner. Fry thought about it, pulled it. And again, they're trying to work this man-to-man. Rigg to the lane, and it's the typical play anymore as he turns it over. It's the typical drive kick, drive kick,
right.
Drive kick.
As we mentioned on a game earlier this afternoon, the Western coaches preach to their guys, play on 2 feet. Don't get out of control. And we're seeing Southeastern pressing a little bit, forcing the issue. 2 or 3 of their guys have fallen down. They're a little out of control.
And some of that is this floor can play a little slick at times. If you don't watch, I've played on it before, and it can play a little bit slick as a pass nearly taken away.
You know, your first trip in here in a while, what do you think of the new look floor for the OVC?
Oh, love it. Love what they've done with this gym. I like the different shaded three-point area. Always have liked that. Oh, I see they did the white tape for the three-point line. I do know they have to do that. And shot on the way, no good. Rebound Hitz pulled down. Shot put up by Moore. And you notice most of Central's shots have come off this strong side, weak side, whichever, depending on where you're looking at. Hits in the post on Blewett. And the freight train stopped at the depot as that's an offensive foul on Carter Hitz. That'll be his second, I believe.
Timed beautifully by Gavin Blewett to take the hit and to go down. That's 2 fouls on Hitz. As you said, both teams have 2 fouls, and both teams' fouls have come from one person on each side.
And we'll see a sub in just a moment. Jaron Henry will check in. Going to work there. Do they bring it over? Moore probing around again. I said they'd only work that side. Now he came over to the other side. Working down for Genenbacher. He'll swing it around, dribble again. Shot on the way is good. Nice looking jump shot. Very pretty. And we've got a timeout called by the Southeastern Suns. You, of course, listening to Macomb Western Holiday Tournament coverage. We are on at TSSR Game Time Live and presented by Tom Conklin State Farm.
An early lead, 12-2 for the Panthers over the Sons of Southeastern. Both of these schools, you mentioned Southeastern West Prairie in a great football season, an 8-man. Camp Point was amazingly strong in their football program as well. That carries over a lot of times. You see a good football team, a good volleyball team will carry over into success for boys and girls in the winter as well.
Well, and the converse is true as well. If you get knocked out early, you get upset, it tends to affect the basketball season and these guys probably got started way late, obviously with the championship going till the Thanksgiving week.
Yep.
And so picking it up pretty quick. But yeah, you can see a lot of these guys still have football bodies.
They got the football muscles, that's for sure. And it takes a while to change the body and to train the body for basketball.
Akers in the corner, going to cross-court it. And a quick burst by Tippy, missed it. And the rebound chased around. Niekamp had it, fight on the floor.
And back to football they go.
Yeah, they go. Football in short pants.
Heck, football players don't wear knee pads anymore anyway. They're wearing shorts.
And one Mr. Tippy, I remember his father, Greg, playing long time ago. It tells you how old I am, which is old. And more dribbling around for the Panthers, trying to set up a screen from Blewett, but he couldn't. And Rigg gave that momentary hesitation. Blewett going to pick up the rebound from Niekamp. And that momentary hesitation gave more of that opening. And they'll pull that trigger. Tippy going to dive to the hole, 16-footer, good. Nice shot coming back the other way, 14-4. Suns trying to get some points on the board here. Just over a minute left to go in this first quarter. Kick out again. A little screen action by Pabin. And you notice, BJ, they seem to be screening with either the forward or the guard, one or the other.
And using a lot of motion on this right side, as you said, but the shots are coming from all over. That one from the left wing, nothing but net.
And a Sports Corner 3 by Pabin, once again, his third of this first quarter. And got 8 in the game so far. Akers cross-courts it and down to Rigg. Rigg in the lane. Quickly to Fry. Fry going in, kind of tried the shoulder. Rebound underneath by Tippy, and Blewett said to get that out of here.
Tell you what, Blewett's got 4 points, but I've been more impressed by him taking a charge, which takes Carter hits off the floor, and now the block shot. He's doing it on both ends of the floor.
And he's got that jumping jack look to him. I mean, just off the floor very quickly. Rigg lobs it in, and that one's going to be tabbed by Niekamp.
Oh, he was back. Blewett was back there by himself.
Yep, and couldn't give the look there as they'll work it back out. Pabin will probably work for one here with 20 seconds and ticking on the clock. Suns will extend out a little bit. I'm now have dropped into a man as they watch. Niekamp with it, swinging to Pabin. Henry doing a good job keeping him in front. They got it out to Moore, though, a little late on the rotation, missed the shot. Suns have 4 to work. And Pabin steals it at the buzzer.
Oh.
Very close to putting that in. We're going to send things over to Mr. Dwayne Hewlett.
All right, we're over here with Keith Yex. We've got a guy over there, Greg Phelps, calling a game for us tonight. You guys did a game 6 years ago or so with WCAZ. Was the last time that you really got to work together here at Western Hall. What kind of good stories can you tell us about Greg Phelps?
In 60 seconds, it would take a lot longer than that.
Well, you've been doing all this stuff, and you did a lot of games through the years with Greg Phelps, and you've kind of jumped the shark a little bit. You're doing the newspaper thing now and radio as you're back with the news WCAZ. What's the newspaper stuff like for you?
Busy. Very busy. 12 to 14 stories a week.
That's pretty good. Greg doesn't do anything but work at a library, so, I mean, he could probably help you write some stories, couldn't he?
I don't know his journalism skills, to be honest.
All right, Greg, we'll send it back to you. 0-0 are the journalism skills, I take it, right?
Yes. Yep, that's my good buddy Keith. He and I worked together long time. 94 to 2017.
Wow. And Keith and I spent many a Christmas, New Year's break week down in Beardstown side by side calling games at the Lady Tiger Classic. So.
Yep, and it, like I said, a little emotional coming in here tonight as Fry drops one home. A little emotional coming in here tonight because it wasn't the best of circumstances under which we closed, and coming here tonight kind of refreshing that a Now remember that they did refresh that at the end of the quarter. But Coach Gooding doesn't want to see too many fouls. Southeastern doesn't have the bench. The Central does. As Blewett will put it in the air. Amazing how quiet it goes in here.
It goes that quiet in Western games. I'm trying to call a free throw, and I'm sitting 12 feet away from the guy shooting. It's I just, remain quiet as well. as I talk through that one.
Yeah, and Blewett makes them both. So ups it to 19-6, 13-point lead here. Tippy in a hurry up to Rigg. Working over to Fry, over to Henry, and down in the corner is Akers. Out top, Tippy. A dribble, 16-footer. His father was the master of those. And that'll put it underneath the basket. They say tipped out of bounds by Central.
Jaron Henry crashed the boards and ended up with two Panthers fighting over it.
On the box offensive set, a little trouble getting it in. Finally found Henry. He lost it, and the Panthers have it. Blewett on the run. If they can get it up to him, nope, kicks it back and threw it away. Here comes Tippy, one on two. Pull up, 10-footer, good. Beautiful looking jump shot.
That is another big change in the game from when we played. Kids aren't afraid to go 1-on-2. The mid-range, the three-pointer, they pull up. The coaches would go nuts if we did that in the old days. We had to pull it out and wait for help.
I was going to say, if I went 1-on-2, I know where I'd end up. Get a nice seat on the pine. They lob it on the other way. Pulling it back is Morley. Step back three, no good. Blewett had it in his hand. Pulled down by Niekamp, and it won't go either. Tipped, and Akers, nice job to just keep tipping it to himself. Now here he'll come up the court and nearly had a backcourt violation. They'll whip it over to Henry. Henry, nice fake and drive, goes up and he'll get fouled.
It's either going to be on Blewett or Niekamp. We'll see what the official says.
My guess is Niekamp from underneath.
They went with Blewett on it, so Gavin picks up his first.
The broadcaster curse, it always is going to be the one I said it wasn't. And I know you guys have probably talked about this earlier on in the day, but one of the big changes for these kids, I know when they come into this gym, is the background.
The
shooting
depth.
It really messes with your depth perception, as Henry misses them both. And again, two Panthers fighting over the rebound just into the game. Cole Peterson tapped it out.
Well, that depth perception is, teams like Farmington that has a pretty deep gym, they can adapt quickly to this. Some of the smaller schools with the wall right next to the basket, it takes a while to get used to the shooting for sure.
Tippy with a nice shot, got bumped a little bit on the way up there. Now Moore pulls it out of there. Works it up quickly, working up there for Ginnenbacher, out top for Moore, swinging to pavement. Had Peterson for a second, now cross courts it. Trying to set up a screen for Blewett. And brings it out. And one of the things I see Central very well schooled at, got to be impressed so far, as Moore puts up the three, is setting up the screen. And that is a lost art on setting up the screen, because it's just as much on the dribbler more than it is really the guy setting the screen.
Well, there's also a lot of emphasis in the last couple of years on illegal screens, so they do a very good job of avoiding those.
Nearly thrown away. Akers with it in the lane, bounces around. And you'll find these Western rims are pretty bouncy, too, compared to a lot of high schools. As Moore got an Olay from Rigg, and right to the basket he goes.
10 points for Pavement here in the first half out of the first 21.
As the Suns go back to work here, bringing it across, Tippy snares it. I think it was intended for Rigg, but I don't know that he realized that. Down on the corner, they work it to Fry.
Suns are going 5 out right here against a man-to-man. Nobody inside the paint.
And trying to work on dives and goes and really without a lot of screens. Now you notice Central was setting a lot of screens. Southeastern doesn't seem to be. Good cut there by Fry. Finds a way to put it up and in. And that is his fourth point first half. As we work down to 4.5 left here to go in this second quarter of play. Quickly, Pavement up now to Moore. Somebody didn't pick him up on the baseline, bounces under, puts it up, Blewett, and he got it. But I was surprised they didn't close out on him a little harder on that baseline. As Akers goes to work, looks to dribble around here, wanting to find Rigg. Nope, comes up to Tippy. Fry posting up, Peterson with the steal. And bounces it over to Pavement. Pavement gives a look. Going to back it on out of there, coming out to Moore. Moore swinging on the corner for Ginnenbacher. And they kind of do the same thing, almost more of a wheel, and Pavement open in the corner. Missed it, but Blewett able to put it up and in. And he is really doing a job on the boards here so far.
He has joined Pavement in double figures. They both have 10. Timeout going to be taken by Southeastern as the Suns fall behind 25-10.
And let's thank some of our very fine sponsors here, like Griffin's Sign-In Time. Is you on-stop or your one-stop shop for all your signage needs, including vinyl signs, car and truck wraps, and more. Griffin Signs in Time says, "Good luck, Panthers," during the Macomb Western Holiday Tournament. Tom Conklin State Farm, located on West Jackson Street, Macomb, and in Farmington. Start your 2004 off the right way by contacting Conklin State Farm to take advantage of the State Farm's new auto rates. Contact them in Macomb at macombsf.com or 837-1200. And at Farmington at ConklinSF.com or 245-423. Like a good neighbor, Tom Conklin State Farm is there.
And, of course, Tom also a longtime basketball official here in Central Illinois. And really connected and tuned in and big part of the community and big part of high school sports here in our area.
And he has always been a great supporter of them. Let's do that. And I know a lot of, walked in here tonight. It's kind of old home week, always is. Coach Reno Pinkston up in the crowd, of course, formerly from Nauvoo, Calusa. Saw several other people I knew, a lot of Macomb folks I knew, Southeastern folks, and that's one of the other fun things about this Macomb Western Holiday Tournament. And Aiden Akers, a little oopsie-doodle with the foot. As the backcourt violation is going to give it over to the Central Panthers.
And that's like a tick. When a young man is getting ready to do his first dribble, drops that leg back, and the leg just went back behind midcourt.
And now coming in, it is Niekamp Paben, joined by Moore Blewett, and into the game is Lohmeyer, or back into the game is Lohmeyer. We'll get Southeastern for you when they go on offense.
I can't tell you that Carter Hitch is back, though, with 2 fouls.
And he's got to be careful. Paben with it now. A couple of bounces over to Moore. And great work between the two of them as Paben goes in, kisses a little glass, and puts it up and in.
That's everything that a coaching staff wants. They work the clock down inside 10 seconds, still get a good shot, get a hoop, add to the lead.
Hits with it now on the post, coming out to Fry. Fry puts up the three, a little short. And the rebound pulled down by Paben. He'll run the throttle up to Moore. Moore, very nice bounce pass to Lohmeyer. Had to pull it back out of there, but a great look. And they'll continue to wheel it around. Kind of a wheel-type play. UCLA did a lot of that back when. You hear a lot of teams run a UCLA-type play. Moore with it. Over to Lohmeyer. Quickly over to Paben. Paben looks in at Blewett. And this will be a hard matchup, BJ. You get hits out on Paben with 3 seconds on the shot clock. And shot no good. But that, to me, is a matchup Coach Brandon Gooding doesn't want to see very often.
No, particularly when he's got the 2 fouls on top of the mismatch and probably some quickness.
Shot off there. Here comes Paben on the fly. Into Blewett. Blewett, nice spin move. Spins back. And the Blewett spin cycle did not result in the basket as Niekamp and Akers were fighting over it. And Niekamp, the tip down out of bounds.
I love the moves, though, and I love the agility in Blewett. He's got a block shot. He drew a charge, has a bunch of points, a bunch of rebounds. He's filling up the stat sheet.
And now coming over to Akers. Suns work it, and that one thrown away. Blewett able to take that away. They were looking for hits on the pass. And off to Paben. Paben going to walk it up here. As he'll... Okay, and Coach Dwayne Hewlett. Well, he's kind of a coach to all of us as Paben drives it and gives it to Moore. See, this is what happened when the old man has to deal with new technology. This is exactly what happened. Rigg going to drive it in, puts it on the wing. Nice shot. I don't know if he saw the basket when he went in there to shoot it or not. Had a guy right in his grill. Impressive nonetheless. As Moore brings it back here. Suns down by 15 as we work under a minute left to go first half. And remember, you talked about that. The hold for a minute has gone away. Hold for one shot. You've only got 35 seconds to do it. As Akers streaks up the court, kick out to Rigg. Rigg on the way with a three. No good. And out of there into Niekamp.
But if the clock holds, Suns will get one more crack at it at least. They earned a 2-for-1 with a quick shot here.
And that's another offensive thing we're going to see come into play. And that one tapped out of bounds by Akers. You're going to see that more, the strategizing, the 2-for-1. And even when you're in a tight game, you have the shot clock as another weapon because they've got to take a shot or turn it over. So, I mean, if you're a defensive-minded coach, it can be another tool for you to use.
But the key is to not give up any offensive rebounds.
Yep.
Then they get that new clock, and then you're out of luck.
Pabin going to work it around up top.
Down to 7 on the shot clock, just like that.
And got to work, got to get something going on the way. They get it out. And that one is a shot clock violation. I hesitated for a second. I saw one of the officials looking at each other and is that a shot clock violation? And I don't know. I'll go with what you went.
Well, I think Pabin was hoping that Genenbacher was going to shoot it, but he went for the extra pass back to Pabin, and Pabin had to launch at the buzzer.
Tippy dribbling around, gives it to Akers. They've got 4 seconds to work. Hits the screen and tipped away. He is not going to get that one off before the end of the first half. 1 half of play in the book, 27-12. The Panthers lead. We are going to send it over to Mr. Dwayne Hewlett. He'll have Central's Coach Barnett here at the half.
Dwayne will join us here momentarily as soon as Coach walks by. And we may not get an interview, as I think Coach headed straight to the locker room. Dwayne? Nope, he's not going to get the interview right now, but hopefully he'll get one with Coach Gooding at the end of the halftime break here. 27-12 at the half in favor of Camp Point Central Panthers, the number 1 seed in this year's Macomb Western Holiday Tournament, presented by Tom Conklin State Farm Insurance in Macomb and in Farmington. And Greg, it's going to be a big hill for the Southeastern Suns to climb.
It's going to be a big hill against a very tough opponent, and that's going to be something that we'll have to see if they can make some adjustments here at the half and what they'll have. And we're going to take this time out on TSSR Game Time Live.
You know, MDH is our title sponsor here on TSSR
All right.
Game Time Live, and we're here with Lindsay Douglas,
All right, we got 7 minutes.
the Director of Physician and Provider Recruitment. I about left out provider out of that. So physician and provider recruitment here at MDH. It's a huge mouthful for me, so explain to us what that is.
Sure. So I am in charge of bringing in candidates for both physician and provider positions here at MDH. So provider meaning anything like nurse practitioner, advanced practice nurse practitioner, physician assistant, things like that. So I source those candidates, bring them in, and try to find the best providers and physicians to provide care at our facility.
So you found a home at MDH. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? How long have you been here? Stuff
Sure.
like that.
So I am from Macomb originally. I graduated from Macomb High in 2009, graduated from WIU in 2014, studied communication there, and started my career in politics and worked for a couple different state representatives and state senators. Then found myself in the educational realm for a little while at the Regional Office of Education, and eventually found myself here at MDH. I started here in February of this past year. I started out as patient advocate, and this role opened up, and I'm now in the role of Director of Physician and Provider Recruitment.
Obviously, McDonough District Hospital, very important to Macomb.
Sure.
And it's the communities not only of Macomb, but Bushnell, Colchester, Blandonsville, Industry. You're from here. So what was it that drew you back here and got you to stay here at MDH?
So MDH is like home to me. I am a 4th generation MDH employee. So my great grandma Nancy Weaver was one of the first nurses that they hired when the hospital opened in 1958. My grandma started working here maybe 10 to 15 years after that. She started as a CNA on acute care, and then she worked in peds, and eventually she worked as the unit secretary for home health and hospice, and she retired from that position after being at MDH for a total of 50 years.
That's a long time.
Yeah. My mom is here as an administrative secretary. She's Brian's
Couple of
administrative
bounces
assistant.
over to Moore.
And so I'm now here as a
And
fourth
great work
assistant.
between the two of them as Pavin goes in, kisses a little glass,
I always
and
thought
puts it
my
up and in.
MDH, just
That's
because of that
everything.
family legacy of working in healthcare.
So before we came on camera, I heard a story. You guys were at a speaker recently, and you got to be there with your mom.
Yeah.
Does that make it really special to be a part of MDH, to still have your mom working here?
It's so cool. My mom is down the hall from me, so if I need something in the middle of the day, I can run down the hall and grab her. But it's also just cool to think about like the legacy that leaves in the community, especially being fourth generation and female. I think that's just a really special thing for my family and for this community here.
So as we look at those kind of, you have a personal connection here. How do you use those personal connections when you're out trying to recruit a physician or a provider?
Sure. So I use the story a lot of my office, actually. So I'm in room 318, which was a room for patients at one time, and now they've converted it into an office space. And one of my favorite stories to tell physicians is that my great grandma was sick in the hospital and was in that room, and that's where my grandma was recruited to join MDH. So my grandma had no plans of working in healthcare, but she was taking care of her mom as a sick patient. And the nurse at the time came to her and was like, "You are such a great caretaker. Why are you not a nurse? Why are you not doing this as your full-time occupation?" And so my grandma decided that healthcare would be her lifetime, and like 50 years. And so she started working for MDH and was recruited right out of my office. So I just find that to be a really special connection when I'm looking to bring people to this community. Like, the recruitment started in this office 50 years ago, and here I am starting a whole new legacy of recruiting people. And I just am so passionate about this community, and I just love living here. I moved back here from Quincy, chose to raise our family here just because we really love Macomb, and we really love being in McDonough County.
So obviously the personal touch, you got the great personal story, you love Macomb. What does MDH offer to the providers and the physicians? What's the sales point for you on the professional level?
So because we're a small rural healthcare organization, your voice is heard here much louder than when you're in a large organization. So when you're in one of those larger hospital systems, you might be one of 15 to 20 providers in a specialty. At MDH, you might be one of two, you might be one of one. And so your voice in that medical staff office is going to be the loudest one in the room about your specialty. And that's a really unique situation for a physician to be, the main voice for speaking for pediatrics or for speaking for orthopedics or whatever that specialty is. You're it. You're the guy. You're the one providing the care for the whole community. And you don't get that if you go to a large healthcare organization.
So those bonuses are probably obstacles in some cases as well.
Sure.
So how do you overcome those obstacles?
It really depends on the provider. If someone is really wanting to be in a place where they're just want to in the background, they don't want to be that main voice, I kind of have to tell them, this is unique. It's a unique community where you're going to go out into Walmart to get your groceries and run into one of your patients, and you're not going to find that everywhere. And that might be scary for you, thinking about, well, I don't want to mess somebody's care up and then run into them and have to explain it to all of Walmart. But it's just, you can also sell that as you're not going to go to Chicago and work somewhere where you're going to run into your patients every day.
Well, Lindsay, I appreciate you coming and talking to us today. Hopefully some people can understand more about MDH and how it's such a family-oriented business and so important to McDonough County and the surrounding area. Keep doing a good job, and maybe your little girl that wanted that 100 chicken nuggets can be the next generation to join MDH.
Exactly.
Well, we'll be back after halftime here on TSSR Game Time Live, presented by MDH.
shot rather than throwing up some, weird angle with our defense. It's either we get close that problem right there. I think that.
All right, good luck in the second half.
And you see also in that Southeastern 101, Mr. Justin Elby, of course, Ron Elby Auto Sales, pregame and postgame sponsor. And if you need looking at a quality used vehicle, stop by Ron Elby Auto Sales, and Justin does a lot for helping out with sports. Big part of the Macomb Summer Leagues, baseball, basketball. He is a well-rounded sponsor, I will say that.
I think it's a pretty cool deal when they do the honorary coaches here at the Macomb Western Holiday Tournament, and he is doing that tonight, helping out those sons, trying to get them to victory lane, as a car dealer would do.
Making sure that they don't set either. And BJ, I'm finding out here tonight, it's kind of like riding a bike. You fall off, you get tired of it, and you go do something else. No, it's kind of it's like riding a bike. It is a lot of fun here, and glad we're back. We'll get the lineups for you in just a second. It is Lohmeyer, Paben, Moore, also Blewett, and Genenbacher, where he has it now. Kind of on the near side, far side, depending on what kind of computer you're watching it on, as they get a quick shot out to Moore, a little bit long. And the first couple of shots were good, and you notice I've watched Moore and Paben both, and this is the brain thing you get into with the kids. They drift out to that college three-point line. It's just a natural reaction. You see that at every one of these tournaments.
Well, that dark paint and the optical illusion, perhaps, they think they've got to step back to get out of that dark paint to be behind the line. And the officials are more focused on that white line inside the dark paint. Or here's a better idea. How about make it just the same for both college and high school?
There you go. Now there was an Aiden Akers going to commit the offensive foul. Got a little tired of the closeness, of the proximity, I guess it were.
The 6-foot rule is not being obeyed.
Yes, and definitely got a little tired of the closeness, decided to separate.
Unfortunately, the official deemed it to be an illegal maneuver.
And forget, maybe it was at the Beastie Boys that keep them separated. That may have been. My mind goes in weird wavelengths.
Wait a minute, I think Offspring, that's who it is.
Offspring, there we go.
Two guys of a certain age talking about the Offspring. Gotta love it.
Yeah, I know it. Somewhere my kids are cringing. As Tippy goes to work it up here, he'll bring it across, picked up by Paben, squirts down to the sideline, then bring it up to Akers. The J, nice shot.
I got to tell you, I was pretty proud of myself earlier today. I was doing Color for Justice Keene, and he said something about round the outside, and I started thinking the Eminem song into my head. So.
There you go. Now that is impressive. Patient working here by center. We've seen a lot of that. Sometimes they go quick, a little bit of pace here and there. As out Moore in the corner, going to have to watch. Shot clock down to 13. Works it to Paben, going to get a screen from Blewett as hits come at him. And again, hits with those two fouls. Got to be a little careful. Paben, probably not the guy you want him on. Shot clock down to 3. They get it out in the corner. Paben on the way.
That's a dagger.
Sports Corner 3. Tack on some of those onion rings on that one. That is his 6th 3 of the game. That's pretty darn impressive.
15 total points, 6 threes.
15 total points. You and I got to get our hand signals down.
Well, I'm from Minnesota. Our hand signals usually have to do with walleye.
Well, and I'm from Illinois. We just count with our fingers and toes most of the time. 5:55 mark of this third quarter of play as Rigg will bring it in.
Problem with that is the shop teacher can only get to 17.
There you go. Took me a minute, but I got it. Sometimes I'm a little slow. Suns get it into hits on the, I guess it was a trapezoid offensive play. I don't know. As Tippy will put up the 3. He's got a Sports Corner 3. And maybe a little bit of stare down on the way back up the court, I think. And nearly gets the steal there.
Tippy now leading Southeastern with 7 points in the game. He's out there with Rigg, Hitz, Fry, and Akers. They're starting 5. Hadn't been many fouls called. 4 have been whistled all night against Southeastern. 3 against Camp Point Central. Makes for a fun game to watch.
It does, and the play's been pretty crisp, and that's one thing the wider floor will do for you, too. You're able to get your spacing a little bit. It is a wider floor, folks. You don't realize it, but it is a college-sized floor, so a little bit wider here.
And 10 feet more in length.
And Paben going to go to the baseline. He'll knock that one home, and I was going to look. I got the stat sheet. got it somewhere here. He has got to be shooting a blazing percentage in this ball game. Very few misses so far.
If our buddy Dan Patrick was here, we'd definitely be saying en fuego.
Okay. And tell you what, let's send it over to Mr. Dwayne Hewlett. He's got the aforementioned Justin Elby with him on the bench.
Bench with the honorary coach, Justin.
In 30 years since I've been played high school basketball, but if the old knees would take it, I'd do it in a second.
I know your kids play sports and you're a big part of that, but you always support Southeastern. You got a business in Southeastern, obviously, in Augusta, I should say, and you got Macomb. It's kind of moved more predominantly to Macomb, but Augusta definitely and Southeastern definitely holds a spot in your heart, doesn't it?
Well, absolutely. Augusta is our home base. We've been there since the 20s or 30s with our dealership and body shop and repair shop. So, yeah, we love to support the Southeastern athletics. Always have, always will. It's great to be the honorary coach here at the Western Holiday Tournament. It's great to have Southeastern in it. They're playing hard out here, and it's great to see all the people from that area here in Western Hall as well.
Okay, put your coach's hat on, let's put your play-by-play or color commentator hat on here. Is Central is up 32-17. If you're the color commentator, you're suggesting what to do as they go to the rack there and miss a shot. Southeastern, what do they need to do when they come down here on the offensive end?
Oh boy, I get the ball to Tippy. I get the ball to Tippy right. He's my cousin, Griffin is, but he's a heck of a ball player. No, they. As a matter of fact, I think actually Southeastern's playing pretty good defensively. They held Camp Point Central to a couple violations on the shot clock, which was good. So they're playing hard defensively. Obviously, Camp Point is a great offensive team, and if they can do that to Camp Point, I think they can. I think they can have a pretty successful season right here. So they're down 15 with 11 minutes to play. They're not out of it. That's the way you got to look at it. If you're the Suns, you just got to say, hey, we're down 15, 11 minutes to play. That we can come back. We got to get some buckets here, and run a couple sets, and see if they work.
All right, that's Justin Elby. We'll send it back to you guys over on the far side there as we get ready to go with the last 2:54.
Tell Justin, see him in a gym somewhere. See a lot of you on the way. 34-17 as Central pulling away here. Southeastern's had several opportunities, BJ, just have not been able to convert.
And that was the first bucket since Dwayne started chat with Justin. That was scored by Gavin Blewett. Now I know what the network guys feel like when they go to the sideline reporter.
There you go.
And the network guys just sit back and relax.
Well, I like that. I'll take that any day of the week. And Blewett trying to draw on the charge, but didn't get it on hits, and he just put it up and in, padded his offensive rebounds while he was at it, too. As Pabin brings it up here, he'll hand it off. And you see they're going to more of a circle. Again, UCLA type, but they look to go into those corners as they wheel back and forth through.
Well, Coach Barnett told me before the game they do have a delay game that's going to be affected if they want to use it by this clock. But that time they got the shot off with 15 seconds to go. And he said he wouldn't run a delay much in this tournament anyway. The better the team, the harder it is to run the delay.
Yes, it is. And as I say, I'm kind of the guy that I hate when you pull out and stall, you lose your offensive momentum, and then when you need a basket, it's hard to turn it back up. I'm always one of those that, if you get that good shot, go ahead and take it. Don't do the stall. Hits in the lane, shot on the way, bounce around a little bit, kiss off the glass. I think Fry tipped it up there. And out of there with it comes Moore. Moore down the sideline, gives it off to Pabin. Pabin works back, and again, wheeling that over to Lohmeyer, quickly over to Moore. And now they'll watch as Pabin goes to the baseline again and wheels it out of there. And cross courts it. Love their cross court passing. Really good eye on that, because that is difficult for kids to learn sometimes, is that cross court, when to do it, when to not do it. As they continue to work, 5 seconds left on the shot clock. Pabin traveled as he went for the step back and turned it over.
Not sure that I saw it, but I'll accept it because I like the call of traveling when it happens.
And yes, it doesn't get called much anymore.
No, it doesn't. It needs to be when it happens.
And I think maybe they got him because he took kind of a side step as he was going up on that, and I think that's where they got him at.
I mean, he didn't abuse the rule as much as, say, a James Harden might, but he still might shuffle the feet.
The half court and then 2 steps, as Tippy trying to create a little separation.
Harden invented a shot called the step back, step back, step back 3.
And Tippy, a very difficult shot there, and more with foul. I know Coach Barnett not going to be happy with that. You get him worked down, he's taking a tough shot, and then you bail him out by fouling him. Looked like a 17-footer from the baseline as Tippy sets himself in there.
So here's a discussion point. 0, a number or not a number?
I would say it is a number. To me,
certainly worn on a lot of uniforms these days.
Or an absence of value, I guess, but always been a number to me.
Absence of value, I like that.
Kind of like my high school basketball game. It was mostly an absence of value.
Well, if the Suns can get a little late run here, last 30 seconds of the period and first couple minutes of the fourth quarter, and still make a ball game of this.
Well, and how you approach it is differently. You don't want to approach it as, hey, it's 14, as Paben wide open look in the corner. Hits a little missed time on the jump. Gennebacher tipped around Niekamp. Out of there with it. Akers handed the second. Now Moore back with it. We'll kick it out as 8 seconds left in the quarter. Shot no good, and the rebound hits. Thought he had it. Out to Moore. Ooh, squeezed out of there.
And you know what? Camp Point Central is able to use the last 30 seconds of the clock. They got 3 looks at it, and that prevents Southeastern from making a break.
And this is TSSR Game Time Live.
Over the years, we've told you about the benefits of choosing Spoon River College. Affordable.
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Credit.
Career ready.
A culture where students feel like they belong.
Wow, that brings a tear to my eye. And while all these are true, there seems to be one thing that, well, sticks. So let's give the people what they want to see.
Enrollment is now open.
My buddy Kurt Oldfield, president of Spoon River College, took the green slime in the making of that commercial.
I thought it was pancake batter. It looked like to me. Of course, I'm a fat guy, so that's why I think that.
Who you
I thought I immediately thought of pancake batter. I guess I'm out of the Nickelodeon age with all my kids. My youngest is 7th grade, and so that's immediately where my mind went. I thought, pancakes.
Yeah. I missed 2 meals in 2023 and made them both up. So no missing a meal here.
I did that, shoved them down, headed to Beardstown this morning, then back up here tonight. As young Mr. Fry will bring it into Tippy, and they'll go to work here. And Mr. Fry, a descendant of some Southeastern, basketball royalty, one Mr. Rick Ramsey. As they'll work it around here, up top for Akers. Akers going to burst toward the hole, bounce out to Fry. Nice looking shot from the corner. Another sports corner 3 from the sports corner. And the Suns get a quick bucket, cut it down to 11. Now you need to work on single digits. First goal is single digits, then go from there.
And to do that, you got to get a stop or 2.
And Blewett, boy, you notice how athletic these guys are. We're seeing a lot of volleys after it, trying to get it tip, and then somebody gets the rebound. And that one, Paben got to go to the baseline. He'll get bumped and fouled. And you mentioned it, BJ, really clean play. I'm surprised because you've had some guys have been off for a few days, some guys haven't. And, you had the holiday in there, you had Christmas. And really crisp play coming out of both teams tonight.
Yeah, and after a long delay, a long break, you can get some sloppy play. We're not seeing that all day long.
And Blewett continuing to tornado his way into the basket. Makes it 36-23. And again, Southeastern got to approach it as get it down to single digits, then go from there. As the Suns work, Rigg pulls it out, and the shot clock helps that, BJ, a lot because you know you're going to get possessions where you know how long they're going to have to work. As nice job by Fry to fake up and go in. A 6'4" guy driving in. That would not have happened in my day.
9 points for Mr. Fry.
Down to the basket, another bump block indoor foul. As Kneecap gets bumped. That's Aiden Akers. Not a lot of substitutions by these teams. Been pretty short benches. As into more wide open. Nobody picked him up, and the Suns got kind of lucky there. And you wonder, maybe the leg's going a little bit, BJ, here in this second half.
And coaches can spot that. They know when a guy needs a break. That one came up a little bit short as well for Tippy.
And a lot of it's pace. You play at a hard pace like this, you play 7, 8 guys.
And we also talked about the extra 10 feet and the extra width. That's more court to cover.
It is. As Blewett goes driving in there, he'll get a basket. And one of the best ways to remedy that is get the close shots. As Tippy will come back the other way. And again, Southeastern's got to work. You know you're going to get the ball back pretty consistently. Now you've got to find a good shot. As Fry toes up another three, it is long, hits, tips it up to his teammate Akers. And we've got a jump ball.
It'll be Panther basketball. And for the young guys, 5th, 6th graders that are learning the game, work inside out. Learn how to make those shots inside. Make your layups. Get used to the glass. Get used to that little box on the backboard before you start stepping outside. We've lost that. We got guys that start in 4th grade firing up threes.
Exactly, and that's one of those things. And I've told my kids, positionless basketball. That's the way basketball is going. So you have to be able to do the small things first. Then you step out, and more with a nice drive. And we talked about legs. You wonder, Southeastern, that's about what? 3 out of the last 4 trips we'd had fouls. And some of that is when you're defending on this motion, and then you end up committing a foul.
Tippy just picked up his second. That is team foul number 3 in the quarter on the Suns. None yet on Southeastern, and Southeastern wants to talk about it.
And they're going to talk about maybe rest a little bit, and we'll talk about some of our very fine sponsors. Once again, thank you for putting us on the air. And, of course, we do a variety of things. I cover mostly West Prairie for Dwayne. Do a lot of girls, boys action here, there, and everywhere. And I know BJ does a lot of the Western stuff. You guys work out here. Some do. That's kind of something new that's come along here. We're over at, Macomb, Bushnell Prairie City, Southeastern. Quite nice friends. Always looking for help, though. If you have a young one at home and you'd like to have them enter the world of broadcasting, don't look at me as an example, but you can definitely get involved, because it's a world of fun if you have a kid that understands basketball and loves to talk, which what kid doesn't. Bring them out here.
And if you have a youngster who understands computers and likes computers, there's lots of jobs behind the scenes. You've got your camera operators, your directors, your replay guys. There's all sorts of positions involved with broadcasting that this new age has brought upon us. We wouldn't be able to put these games on TV. None of the TV stations locally probably carry it.
Right.
But Dwayne's able to get TSSR Live going on YouTube, and here we are doing games and just like a TV.
And he and I started back in the COVID days. I said, hey, can you help me out? And he brought me all this equipment. I said, what am I going to do with that? And then I learned how to do it. As Moore going to step in at the free throw line, trying to extend it out, and gets the 14th point to the deficit. I was trying to figure out how exactly to word that. I guess for him it's a lead. For Southeastern it would be the deficit, in the interest of equal time. And rebound pull down there. Nice job by Genenbacher. Get high up and get it. And Fry's easily the tallest guy on the floor, but you see these forwards, because they really didn't have a center. These forwards for Central, very springy legs.
And willing to mix it up physically with that state championship football team to go inside and battle with you.
Exactly. And I did see hits and a couple of the guys kind of talking and laughing. You like to see that relationship too. These kids all know each other anymore. And a kick violation on Tippy.
Skates, haven of beauty.
Yep. And it's amazing to me how many of these kids know each other. They talk to each other, Snapchat, whatever, all the ones. Snappity face, tickety chat. I always tell my kids.
Book a face.
Yeah, there we go. And now Pabin will bring it out here. They do have 14 to work on the shot clock. Got to keep an eye on that, trying to work it to Moore. And he'll just wheel in there. Nice pass outside to Genenbacher. Oh, head Blewett open on a nice roll. Now Blewett with 3, shoots it, going to bounce over, and scooped up by Fry.
Well, Southeastern cannot be faulted for the way they're playing defense here in the second half. They're actually doing a very good job against this Camp Point Central team.
Akers to the hole. Nice job. Extends the arm a little bit further out. Puts it up and in and cuts it down to 12. And again, Southeastern now going to have to be under a little pressure. You've got to score every single time, and they can't score. Got to really hold tight.
Guys to watch, Paben and Blewett have all but 6 of the points for Camp Point Central.
Foul going to be whistled on Rigg. On the first on Rigg, Blewett brings it in. Box offensive set. In again, and Bacher looking for Blewett. Back over to Paben.
Well, now you got double bonus the rest of the way for Camp Point Central. We'll see if they try to pound it inside and draw some more fouls.
Paben wheeling around here. Plenty of time on the shot clock. Looks to Moore. Cross courts it. They'll drive baseline and whipped it through the hands of Niekamp. Suns fight for it on the floor. Akers had it for a second, and we're going to have another tie-up. And just remember, I coach junior high girls basketball, so we're about 398 jump balls behind where I'm usually.
I was going to say, the pace is pretty high there, right?
Yeah.
I've officiated a lot of that age group over in Canton at the YMCA, and it's a jump ball fest.
It is. And now these guys, like I said, I've got to be impressed. Very clean game they played here so far. Akers working on the outside cross courts. Hit's going to put up the high arc, and 3, it's good. Sports on corner 3. The 3-ball side pocket puts it in, and now here comes the Paben out of there. And the Suns have it down to 9. It is single digits.
And they have won the second half to this point. This one's not over.
3 minutes, world of time left. And remember, every 35 seconds they're going to get it back. Paben probing the baseline. Pulls it out of there and now fakes. As we work down, under 10 seconds left on the shot clock. More wheeling around. Working on Rigg. One-on-one. Tries to shake and bake him. Genenbacher to the lane. Goes up. Shot is no good. Rebound tipped around. Got it back, though. Shoots it again. It will not go. And the rebound snapped up by Hitz.
And do you think that by taking 30 seconds off the clock each possession, Camp Point Central has cost themselves a little momentum?
I would say, and that's what I talked about, not being aggressive. Fry going to pump up a 3. It is no good. Rebound snatched down by Niekamp. Yes, I'm one of those coaches. You got to stay aggressive. Got to stay aggressive because that's what happens. You stagnate and then walk yourself into some, not a great shot or high percentage shot at the end of the shot clock.
The only thing really saving Camp Point Central in the second half is their control on the offensive end of the rebounding. They've done a nice job on the glass.
And now Paben works it out. Coming to Blewett. They lob it to nice feed in there. Genenbacher to Niekamp. Puts it back into double digits. And with under 2 minutes, Sun's going to have to really ring it up quick with some change. As Tippy right to the hole, puts it up, won't get it to go, and Blewett out of there with the rebound. Paben will kind of work it up. And now the Sun's got to get up, and you got to get up tight. And this is where the larger floor makes a big difference, BJ, as you got so much more space to work.
Defensively, if you can get out in somebody's face and stay on them, you also lengthen the passes that a guy has to make.
And Tippy will give the personal foul.
Like to see a little more effort at trying to steal the ball. That's very dangerous. You get yourself an intentional call right there. It's 2 points, 2 free throws on the ball back.
And you were going the same place I was. When you kind of push in the back like that, you really got to make it look like it's an effort to go for the ball, because if you don't, that's what can happen.
I mean, we all know that's an intentional foul. The coach said foul him, and he fouled him. But you got to make it look like you're going for a steal, usually.
Paben will be up at the free throw line, trying to put a little more icing on the cake. He sinks the first of the buttercream free throws. $18 points in the game. Second one is good. So it puts him up 13, 43-30. Minute 15 left to go here in the ball game. Tippy quickly up. Fry in the corner. They're all over him. Out to Akers. Akers looking around. Out to Fry. Down to out to Tippy. Tippy 17-footer. That's good. Just a 2 though. And puts it back down to 11.
You see the Suns trying desperately to get the ball to Fry for a corner 3. That's his spot on either side. But Southeastern knows it too.
And Paben working it out of there with 50 seconds left. Near steal by Rigg. Still working at it. They come over to Moore. Moore gets away. And then finally Owen Rigg will give his second foul. And so 45 seconds left.
The only thing unfortunate about the double bonus is you can't, get that front end of a 1-and-1 miss and get the ball back.
Exactly. That's where it's changed a lot of things. You got to hope some way, somehow that they're going to miss one.
Well, and some of the theory by doing this is it eliminates the foul game.
Yep.
Because you don't want to take that chance to give them 2 every time.
And I think that's, what that's changed up is, it has made for a little cleaner play. You don't have these intentional foul fests at the end of games. And, kind of it speeds the games up a little bit. Fry, nice step back. And we got a timeout called by Coach Gooding.
He wants to make it a full timeout. Southeastern still within 10, but the clock down to 34 seconds, certainly not their friend. The shot clock will now be turned off.
And you can bet either they're going to foul or just kind of let it walk away. You kind of hate to take away that aggression toward the end, but sometimes discretion the better part of valor on some of these situations.
A lot of times you see these games that get down to the final 2 minutes and takes a half an hour to finish. And I think those powers that be that make the rules take a look at things like that, and you got to keep some entertainment value in the game as well.
And that's been a hard thing. Ever since COVID, the crowds have not recovered. And, everybody knows that. You've seen it all over the place. The crowds have not recovered. I mean, people are comfortable on their couch, and that's one of the things they're trying to work back toward is bringing in the fans, doing things to up the game, speed the game, to get a little more flow back into it. Because I know we had a lot of the era where it was just dead. I mean, that's all you can say.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, the rule changes in high school ball have come directly from the changes that were made several years ago in women's college basketball. They went away from the 20-minute half to the 10-minute quarters. They went away from the 7 fouls to the 5 per quarter. And the women's game is very entertaining right now, and it's helped the boys' high school game here.
It has. And I think they've tried to clean up the rough play, the illegal screens, that type of stuff, and that's one of those things that makes a huge difference. And that foul going to put Pavement up to the free throw line with 28 seconds left.
I like what the officials are doing here. Sometimes when they know you're trying to foul, they will swallow that whistle, and then it gets dangerous because you have to foul really hard, and these guys are in complete control.
And have been all the way through. And so they're Pavement back up there again, trying to up it back up to 13, and does not. Fry down with the rebound and pretty much all over but the shot, barring a miraculous 16-point shot, and Akers puts that one in just for the 2.
Another possible rule, 16-point shot.
There you go. From half court, you make that, and win a car while you're at it.
We're fouling on Akers there. And you make the walk down the other end again. It'll be Nick Moore, the senior. Just 4 points, but a great floor game tonight for him. Same thing can be said for Elijah Genenbacher. No points, but a great floor game for him as well. A lot of rebounds, a lot of activity.
Well, and I got to tell you, as he drops the first one in, the other thing you've got to keep an eye on, too, you remember these guys got to come back. It's going to be a late night tonight. I don't know whether they're staying here. I don't know a lot of what a lot of the local schools do. I know Southeastern came on bus. I was behind the bus. Central came, but I don't know whether they're staying here or not. And you want to try to get out of the game as quick as you can. Fry, long 3, no good. That one laid a little foundation against the backboard.
And now Camp Point Central can hold for the final horn.
And that's going to be our final score, 47-36, the lead 11. And they're going to take the win away here. And nice game by Central. The 1 seed holding on, no upsets as far as I know so far in this first round.
Not among let's see, the seeded teams have all, in Avon, 8-Town beat Pittsfield, was a number 4 seed. So we have minor upset there. But for the top 3 seeds, been pretty smooth sailing today in the Macomb Western Holiday Tournament presented by Tom Conklin State Farm.
And, of course, our next 2 teams, Illini West and Monmouth-Roseville, they have quite a history in this tournament, a long history in this tournament. And it'll be fun to see how the 2 of them shake things out. Coming up here in just a little bit, it is the Central Panthers taking the win. They will face the winner of Illini West and Monmouth-Roseville. So right now you've got West Hancock, Illini Bluffs, you've got Farmington and Rock Ridge. And I was going to say in the Midwest central town of Rock Ridge. And you've got Abingdon Avon, A-Town taking on Macomb, and now Camp Point Central punches their ticket into the winner's side of the bracket. Southeastern will fall into the winning challenge. We don't want to say loser. The winning challenge side of the bracket, or consolation's a nicer term, and do that.
That's right.
So, BJ, any last thoughts before we wrap it up here?
Well, I think Camp Point Central did everything they had to do tonight. I think Southeastern put up a pretty good fight. They fell behind, got behind by 15, and we knew it was going to be a tough hill to climb. They did win the second half, battled back, got it down in the single digits a couple times, but I like Camp Point Central's composure, their maturity, good coaching, well-coached team, took care of business.
All right, and you got to give props to Southeastern as well. Even though they came out on the losing end, they stayed right this one, worked pretty hard, and we can see that they're going to be a tough team to face for anybody here in this tournament.
They'd be one of my favorites on the other side of the bracket from this point forward for sure.
All right, well, that's going to wrap it up. We'll be back in just a little bit with Illini West and Monmouth Roseville. We're going to...
And remember, you have to sign out of your YouTube if you want to watch the next game and sign back into the next link for game number 8.
And, of course, we want to thank Ron Elby Auto Sales for our pre- and post-game show for every game here at this Macomb Western Holiday Tournament. And we're going to step aside for now. This Macomb Western Holiday Tournament coverage presented by Tom Conklin State Farm on TSSR Game Time Live. For BJ Stone, I'm Greg Phelps saying we'll see you on the other side.